The Lanterns of Whispering Forest, English Story Level 3. Every autumn, the Whispering Forest came alive with floating lanterns that drifted between the trees like glowing fireflies. No one knew where they came from or who lit them, but villagers believed the lanterns carried forgotten voices, memories, hopes, and messages that the forest had collected over centuries. Most people admired them from afar, but few dared to walk beneath their soft lights. Mira, however, had always been drawn to the forest. As a child, she heard faint whispers carried by the lanterns, though others insisted the noise was only the wind. Now older and braver, she felt it was time to uncover the truth. Armed with a notebook and a small backpack, she entered the forest one crisp evening, guided by the warm glow above her. The lanterns floated gently, their light shifting like candle flames. Mira noticed each lantern had a faint symbol on its surface, some shaped like spirals, others like feathers or waves. As she reached out to touch one, it drifted closer, humming softly. Her fingers brushed against its warm surface, and a whisper echoed deep within her mind. The voice belonged to a young woman who lived centuries ago. She spoke of dreams she never fulfilled, songs she never finished, love she never declared. The lantern trembled as if releasing a long-held breath. Mira stepped back, stunned. The forest truly held memories, echoes of lives that had once touched its soil. As she continued deeper, the lanterns grew more numerous. Some whispered laughter, some sorrow, and some secrets meant only for the trees. The air shimmered with the weight of their stories. But Mira noticed something else. Many lanterns flickered weakly, their whispers fading like dying embers. They needed help. In the heart of the forest stood a massive ancient tree with silver bark and roots weaving through the ground like veins. The lanterns circled it protectively. Mira approached cautiously, sensing a powerful presence. The tree spoke not with words, but with a warm pulse that vibrated through the earth. It showed her memories of the forest long ago, when people visited often and shared their emotions freely. The lanterns thrived because humans trusted the forest with their joys and sorrows. But over generations, people grew distant, fearful of anything mysterious. The lanterns weakened because fewer stories were whispered into the woods. The ancient tree asked Mira for help. It needed someone who still believed in the forest's magic, someone who could bring people back not with force, but with gentle truth. Mira agreed, though she wasn't sure how one person could change an entire village. The next day, she invited her closest friends to join her in the forest. At first, they laughed, thinking she was joking, but Mira insisted, her eyes shining with determination. Eventually, curiosity won, and they followed her to the lantern grove. When they saw the glowing lights drifting like living memories, they gasped. Mira encouraged them to touch a lantern. They hesitated, then reached out. Almost immediately, their expressions softened. Each heard a whisper different from the others' voices that resonated personally. Some cried quietly. Some smiled in wonder. All of them felt a connection they couldn't explain. Word spread quickly. Soon, more villagers visited the forest. They came with stories to share, memories to release, burdens to let go. Each time someone whispered into the lanterns, the lights grew brighter. The forest felt alive again, vibrant, warm, filled with voices that blended into a symphony of human emotion. But not all memories were gentle. One evening, a man came with a lantern that glowed dark red, pulsing with anger and grief. When he released his whisper, the forest trembled. The ancient tree strained under the weight of such a heavy memory. Lanterns flickered dangerously. Mira stepped forward. She placed her hand on the dark lantern and whispered words of forgiveness, not hers, but the words she felt the man needed. Slowly, the lantern softened, turning from red to warm gold. The forest steadied. The man fell to his knees in relief, tears washing away years of darkness. Over time, the villagers learned to trust the forest once more. The Whispering Forest flourished, its lanterns glowing stronger than they had in generations. Mira became known as the Listener of Lanterns, the girl who revived the forest not with magic, but with kindness and courage. And each autumn, when the lanterns rose like stars among the trees, people remembered the stories they had shared. The forest whispered back, weaving every voice into its eternal light.